Hi, beautiful people. Hope you're doing great. So, a week ago, it was my birthday, as you can see. Does it say 31? 3, 1. My husband got me these balloons, and they've been up for over 7 days now. And the fact that they're still standing is a testament to how I'm gonna still be standing come the end of my 31st year. Let's put these over here for a second. So I thought, why not do a video called birthday blues? So two things we're going to get into in this video. Number one, are birthday blues a thing? Like, do they actually exist? And number two, I wrote down 3 self-reminders for myself as I was entering into my 31st year. And I thought, why not share them with the beautiful people on the internet? So let's go. And I happen to be wearing blue. I promise it's not because of the video called birthday blues. It's just a coincidence, but I think it's working out really well, if I may say so myself. So let's get into the video. Hi everyone, hope you guys are doing great. My name is Omphile and welcome back to my channel on a segment called Convos on Canvas. Whoop, 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 whoop. So as mentioned, I thought I'd do a video, which I wasn't going to do, to be honest. I was like, why am I doing a video on my birthday or on birthdays? But I was like, you know what? It's a thing, birthday blues. So usually on my birthday, I'm like, ooh, I'm getting old, super old. For example, I'm turning 31 and a friend was literally like, do you know 31 is the last number on a calendar? I was like, oh, hold up, wait, what do you mean? What do you mean? So usually I'm like, oh, I'm getting old. Should I celebrate? Do you have any plans? What should I do? Also, I like to take a nap. So should I nap for majority of the day and then go out and celebrate? I mean, also I like celebrating milestones in life, whether big or small. So it's like I should definitely celebrate. And also usually for birthdays, I like having a birthday song. So I was like, what's my birthday song for this year? I mean, the birthday song I had at 21 is not the birthday song I have at 31, believe it or not. Also, there's so many birthday songs out there these days.
I wanna say happy birthday to you. Your way. Happy birthday to you. How old are you now?
So I sometimes have these feelings where I'm like, ooh, let's reflect on my life, on the life achievements and life goals since we're turning a new age. And hence I was like, why not actually do a video on a topic called birthday blues? So point 1 on the video topic is, are birthday blues a thing? So I was doing some mini research, as I sometimes like to do when I look into topics, on birthday blues, if they're a thing, if they exist. And I was looking into some articles. One of them is called peacefulmind.com and medicalnewstoday.com and a few other articles. And as I was reading these articles, they actually stated that yes, birthday blues are a recognized phenomenon and they actually do exist. Then this is what the article said. These feelings are often triggered by various factors such as fear of aging. So usually birthday milestones like your 30s and 50s can instill intense feelings of getting older. It even says feelings of getting older and closer to the end of life. I was like, close to the end of life? That's crazy. Like, you're only 30 and you're only 50. I think if you're turning 75, usually I'd personally be like, okay, we're closer to the end of life. But it's crazy that for some people, it doesn't instill that intense feeling of you closer to the end of your life. The other factor was reflection on life achievements, because birthdays tend to prompt one to reflect on their milestones, achievements, and if they've achieved them or not. And this can instill certain feelings of either disappointment or sadness as you're doing the reflection. The other factor stated here is social pressures and low self-esteem. And it says here, being the center of attention can be uncomfortable for those with anxiety or low self-esteem. The other point, the last one, it says, past experiences and trauma. Negative past experiences associated with birthdays can resurface, contributing to sadness. And that's a really sad one. So for some people, birthdays are really not a nice day, believe it or not. And so for me personally, the one that I could relate to was the one of reflections of life achievements. Because usually on my birthday, and not just my birthday, but most days when there's certain milestones happening, I like to reflect, like look back, journal about it. I love to journal. I'm going to do a video on that soon. You should try it, journaling. And so as I was reflecting, I wrote down these 3 self-reminders that I personally gave myself while reflecting on my 31st year of life. And this is what I reflected on. So the 3 self-reminders I had for my birthday. The first one was, you are exactly where you're supposed to be. You are not behind. So I was having a conversation with a friend and she was like, I'm turning 30. I feel like I'm having a midlife crisis. Girl, midlife? You're not 50. But anyway, they were like, I just feel like I'm questioning my life's purpose. I'm not sure if I'm on the right path. Also, I won't lie. I feel like I'm a bit behind. And I was like, girl, you stressed about 30? I'm stressed about 31. I've got bigger fish to fry. And to be fair, both our feelings were valid because as humans, we can have this visual representation in our minds of this is where I should be and this is how it should be and this is where it should be. And when you're not having that vision, happen in your reality, it can trigger feelings of you're feeling left behind. On that note, what I've also learned through my faith is God's time is a good time. In other words, we can have plans and goals and milestones and timelines that we want to have. And to be honest, that's good. I think every human should have that. But I think my faith has also taught me that God's time is a good time. In other words, He's never too late, never too early, literally right on time with the dreams that we sometimes have, that we may feel sometimes like they're taking too long and what's happening. Because usually when I've reached certain milestones and achievements in my life, like literally I can't think of a perfect time of them happening when I look back and reflect compared to, I guess, when I'm trying to strive for that dream or achievement. And in the process, I'm like, when is this going to happen? So my faith has definitely encouraged me to say, hey, God's time is a good time. Even though sometimes I won't lie, I'm like, God, can you please work with my time? Like, come on, let's go. But hey, that's just me. Also, who said this is where one should be at this certain age? Okay, I think it's society and society standards. But I think it's fair to say there isn't a blueprint, to like being a certain age and what you should be doing and achieving at a certain age. Of course, there's certain things, like practical things, okay? Like we can agree there's certain practical things, reasonable things one should have done by a certain age. If I can think of one is, actually, I'm trying to think of one. What is a thing? Okay, we have practical things like developmental things. Pediatricians will tell you a child should be talking by this age and walking by this age. But I'm just trying to think on life achievements, like what's the blueprint of when this should be done by when? Because I can't even say you should have a degree by age 25 because my parents love education. My dad loves education. He continued his studies, furthering to be a specialist literally when he was over 50 years old. And then you have people who are literally in classrooms well above the age of 25, 26, pursuing another degree. So I can't even say like you should have a certain degree by a certain age. I can't even say you should have children by this certain age because you look at stories like Sarah in the Bible, Sarah, the wife of Abraham, in the Bible, who God was like, you're gonna have a baby in your old age. And she was really old, okay? And literally in the Bible, it says she laughed, she giggled, because she was like, at my old age, have a baby. And then Abraham, her husband, is like, why did you laugh? And then she's like, I didn't laugh. And then God is like, you laughed. Literally, that's how the conversation went. And I think for her, it was, I guess, out of, again, a society standard that said, you should be having babies at a young age. You're now super old. What do you mean? But hey, it happened. It was a miracle. And then I can't even say you should have settled or have a family by this age because life happens and that's going to happen at different ages for all of us. I can't even say you should have built a house with a mansion and 10 cars at the age of 31 because we all have different life purposes and life paths and we're not going to achieve the same things at the same time. So I'll ask again, who said one should be a certain age and have achieved certain things? Please let me know. I guess I'm also realizing a ticking clock for a countdown is a myth to God. It's non-existent because He determines the time and place of what should be, literally. So there's a quote my friend shared on a WhatsApp status like 2 months ago, and I screenshotted it because I loved it so much and I thought I'd share it with you guys. So this is how it goes. You are in your 30s and sit at a table with friends for dinner. The first time in a long time. You could all get together. One is pumping under her shirt while another is asking if it hurts. One is ordering an espresso so she can stay awake, while another is swiping through photos with you of a guy she doesn't know if she should date. One is saying she's thankful for a night without hearing her kid complain about the shape of the noodles on their plate, while another is showing off her engagement ring she got while in Italy the other day. All different seasons of life gathered around the table tonight. I think you don't need to feel so behind. Like, I love this quote so much, and by the way, it's by an unknown. I don't know who wrote it. Whoever you are, if you're seeing this is so beautiful because I could relate to it so much. Not only did my friend who screenshotted this, she's also in her 30s, our friendship circle, I call them my sisters, we literally are stepping into our 30s, 30, 31, and literally we're all in different phases of life. I'm not even kidding. Some of us have kids, some of us don't have kids, some of us are married, some of us are not married, some of us are being a full-time mother, some of us are being a full-time corporate woman, and it's crazy and it's beautiful at the same time because whenever we gather and share stories and engage and catch up, we realize that, what? Life is beautiful. The fact that you can have someone close to you and they're having a completely different life, but at the same time, you can all have a common sense of gratitude and love and joy and peace, regardless of the paths we all find ourselves in. And so that's my first self-reminder to myself and to you. You are not behind, you're exactly where you need to be. So the second self-reminder I had for myself was actually when I was journaling, as I mentioned before, just reflecting on life and achievements and all the things. And the second point I had for myself was, when it's going great, when it's going grim, remember the Lord. So this second self-reminder came as I was reading about the Israelites in the Bible, specifically in the book of Deuteronomy chapter 8, where the chapter, if you read it, chapter 8, it starts off by saying, do not forget the Lord. And before you get to this chapter, you have to go like a few chapters back to like Exodus, where the Israelites have just left Egypt. God is performing miracles for them. He split the sea. They're walking on dry ground. He's providing manna so they can eat and not starve. And then they end up at a mountain, and Moses is there getting the 10 commandments from God. And as he's getting the 10 commandments and writing them on a stone, the Israelites forget God. They are now like worshipping an idol. They literally built a golden calf and they're worshipping that. God is like, Moses, stop writing, go down there. The people are acting up. And it says in the Bible literally that Moses got so angry he dropped the tablets. They literally split. They broke. That heavy stone with the 10 commandments, they broke. God also got angry. And he got angry, but then he forgave them. But not only did he forgive them, there were consequences to their actions. Yes, the Israelites were like, there's consequences to our actions. And then it said by the time you get to Deuteronomy, fast forwarding a bit, Moses standing in front of an entire new generation. It's not the previous one that disobeyed God, but a whole new generation. And as he's standing in front of them, he's reminding them like, you guys had forsaken the Lord by worshipping other gods. So now come back, return to the Lord and remember him. And in chapter 8, as you read it and go to other chapters, he's basically giving them some laws and decrees to follow God's ways, commit to the Lord, to his laws and decrees. So in chapter 8, it literally starts off by saying, do not forget the Lord. And this is what it says in chapter 8, verse 10 to 14. When you have eaten and are satisfied, praise the Lord your God for the good land he has given you. Be careful that you do not forget the Lord your God, failing to observe his commands, his laws, and his decrees that I am giving you this day. Otherwise, when you eat and are satisfied, when you build fine houses and settle down, and when your herds and flocks grow large and your silver and gold increase, and all you have is multiplied, then your heart will become proud and you'll forget the Lord your God, who brought you out of Egypt, out of the land of slavery. And then if you jump quickly to verse 17 to 18, it says, you may say to yourself, my power and the strength of my hands have produced this wealth for me. But remember the Lord your God, for it is he who gives you the ability to produce wealth and so confirms his covenant, which we saw to your ancestors as it is today. And literally, that's Moses standing in front of them saying, it was nice for you guys last time. It was going great, but then you got proud, you forgot the Lord, and that's why you built the golden calf. I like the part here where it says, when your herds and flocks grow large and your silver and gold increase, and all you have is multiplied. In other words, when the money don't multiply, don't forget the Lord. Do not be proud. In other words, be humble, remember him, and know, as it says in verse 18, that it is God who gives you the ability to produce wealth. When I read this part, I was like, very true. When it's going great in life, you feel like it's going great, it's going perfect. Some of us, it's easy to forget the Lord, that he's the one who gave us the ability in the first place to be where we are. I personally, in my faith, as I'm growing, I've learned to always thank God when it's going good, when it's going great. Like give thanks. Thanksgiving. We hear that gratitude is a lifestyle. And so every time, when things are going great, in other words, the dreams are starting to make sense, favor is happening in my life when it comes to either my career or my family or provision, I'm like, okay, Lord, thank you. Because I think also when I read the story in the Bible, it was Jesus healing the 10 men with leprosy. And he heals the 10 men with leprosy. They literally walk off. Then it says one of them recognized that he was healed. And then it says he ran back to Jesus, fell at his feet and said, oh Lord, thank you. And then Jesus literally asked him, like, didn't I heal 10 people? And then he literally asked, where's the other 9? And I think that always reminds me like, yo, it's going great. It's going good. Remember to thank the Lord. So that's a good thing that I think we should always continually do. Like when it's going good, remember the Lord. Don't be prideful and be like, this is all me, this is on me. God gave us the ability to be where we are when we're doing great. On the other hand, when it's going grim, in other words, the dreams are a bit delayed, there's a bit of confusion and frustration in my life, there's pain, there's hurt, and it's going grim, I'm reminding myself to also remember the Lord. This was inspired actually by the story of Hannah. Backstory on Hannah is she really, really wanted a child. If you read 1 Samuel, she really wanted a child and she was struggling to conceive. And so she's praying to God regarding the situation. It actually says in 1 Samuel chapter 1, verse 10, in her deep anguish, Hannah prayed to the Lord, weeping bitterly. And she made a vow saying, Lord Almighty, if you look on your servant's misery and remember me, and not forget your servant, but give her a son, then I will give him to the Lord for all the days of his life, and no razor will ever be used on his head. When I read this verse, I like it a lot in terms of the statement of when it's going grim, remember the Lord. I like the part where it says in her deep anguish, it says she prayed to the Lord. In other words, she remembered the Lord and got on her knees and said, okay, I'm going through it. I remember there's a God I can pray to, and she did that. But I think the verse that I relate to most is the part where it says, if only you will look on your servant's misery and remember me and not forget your servant. I could relate strongly with those words that Hannah was saying to God, because for me personally, when I'm going through it, to be honest, I don't want to remember anything. I'm like, I'm going through it. Okay, but I will be honest and say, when I remember the Lord in times of my pain and confusion and dreams being delayed, usually it's out of a selfish, if not painful perspective, where I look at him, and I also actually said the exact same words, Lord, look down here, remember me, don't forget me, fix this ASAP. That's what I usually say to him. And I guess while I was reading the scripture, it kind of encouraged me and challenged me to say, when it's going grim and I have to remember the Lord, may I not only remember him for him fixing the situation when I'm going through grim moments, but I think also most importantly for me in my life to also remember who he is. Because it's so easy to turn to God and be like, why is this happening? And you say you God, so why is this pain and hurt and frustration and delayed dreams happening? But I think sometimes if we shift our perspective to remember who God is, in other words, he's a faithful God, he's a loving God, he's kind, he's a promise-keeping God, he's faithful. It will help us remember that even though we're in a situation that's painful and hurtful, there's a God who's bigger than that situation. I'm able to also remember him for what he's done, because if he's done it then, he can do it now. That part of scripture really challenged me that I think it's okay as humans for us to actually cry out to God, to say, Lord, don't forget us. But I think the funny aspect of that is we with a God who literally loves us so much that it says in his word that he never leaves us, he never forsakes us. So how could he forget us and forsake us? And I think again, Hannah and myself sometimes, I say it out of pain, like, Lord, just look down on me. Don't forget me, remember me. But I'm challenging myself these days to say when it's going grim, I should remember him, not only for what he's done, but also for who he is. So yeah, that's my second reminder to self. When it's going great, when it's going grim, remember the Lord. My third self-reminder that I had for myself was gratitude shifts perspective. Now we've all heard the saying, gratitude is a lifestyle. I personally think in the same way we can chase our dreams and goals and accomplishments, we can definitely have things you're grateful for in that very moment. And it's not to say when we're going through the most in life, with the pain, the hurt, the doubt, the frustration, or the grind, that we should diminish it and ignore it and just find things to be grateful for. But it genuinely does shift perspective of how we think and ultimately how we'll act towards the situations. There's a verse I like in 1 Thessalonians chapter 5, verse 16 to 18. And this is what it says. Rejoice always, pray continually, give thanks in all circumstances, for this is God's will for you in Christ Jesus. And I like the fact that it says give thanks in all circumstances. In other words, no matter which circumstance you're in, the great, the grim, the good, the bad, the happy, the sad, the joyous, the not so joyous, we are all able to give thanks in all circumstance. And it's a very big challenge because you're telling me while I'm going through it, while I'm going through the most, I could have something I'm grateful for. And the reality is, yes, there's at least one thing in our lives. It doesn't have to be 10 or 20 or 30, but we all definitely have that one thing that we can be grateful for. And it's crazy because I'll sometimes watch videos on either TikTok or Instagram and it's a person who's going through the most, but they'll be like, you know what? But I'm thankful to be alive. I'm thankful for health. I'm thankful for a supportive wife or husband. I'm thankful for a supportive community. And that keeps them going. So that's another challenge as a self-reminder to myself to have gratitude in the midst of the challenges I may be facing. So I did mini research again on just the benefits of gratitude. I just wanted to find out like, okay, I know it's a lifestyle, I know it can make you feel good, but like what are the benefits of gratitude? And I looked up some articles and one of them is from Greg Vernock and positivepsychology.com. And this is what they say are the benefits of gratitude. Number 1, it improves mental and physical health. And then it says, yeah, gratitude can lead to better mental health by reducing stress and anxiety. That's good. And it can also improve physical health by lowering blood pressure and enhancing sleep quality. That's really good. The second point was It enhances well-being and happiness. It says that practicing gratitude increases positive emotions and overall life satisfaction, contributing to a happier and more fulfilling life. The third point was it fosters better relationships. And this is what it says. Expressing gratitude can strengthen relationships and expand social networks, reducing feelings of loneliness. Lastly, gratitude encourages generosity and kindness. Gratitude promotes pro-social behaviors, leading to a more compassionate community. And I think, yeah, it's not a bad thing to genuinely practice being grateful, practice Thanksgiving. It really does shift your perspective on whatever you're going through. And it helps me almost find a way forward by holding on to the hope through my gratitude experience. And so, yeah, gratitude shifts perspective. That's the third self-reminder I have for myself that I'd like to share with you guys. And that marks the end of my video. I just wanted to look into birthday blues if they're a thing, and also just share the 3 self-reminders I have for myself while I was reflecting on my life, and hopefully blessed you and encouraged you a little bit. So yeah, don't forget, you are not behind. You're exactly where you're supposed to be. When it's going great, when it's going grim, remember the Lord. And lastly, gratitude shifts perspective. But in true Convos on Canvas style, here is my canvas for the day. It is a drawing that I did to celebrate my 31st birthday, and this is how it looks like. Right? So, and there it is, 31. Whoop, whoop, whoop. Okay, so to explain the drawing, as I always do, just so you get context of what I drew. So I drew blue clouds. You could say it's clouds, but it's also to kind of resemble the blues one may feel for their birthday. But I drew them in the background, and I was like, you know what, even if you get in the blues, even if you're not, you gotta celebrate. Hence all those little sparkly dots that look like confetti. And then my 31 balloons, the ones you just saw at the beginning of the video. That's to celebrate my birthday, and this is me just holding them up in celebration. I actually drew this picture inspired by the picture I literally took on my birthday. Here it is. I kind of aced it, didn't I? A little bit. I hope you like it. I like it. I think my drawing skills are getting better and better compared to the first drawing I did on the first video. I think we're getting there. I think, yeah, this is cute. I like it. And yeah, this is to celebrate my birthday. So thank you for watching my video. Hope you enjoyed it, and see you guys in the next Convos on Canvas.